Would you please lead us in prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the little bit of rain that is beginning to fall, reminding us all that you're in control. Lord, we thank you for these who give of their time and their brain power, Father, to do what they've been called to do. Lord, I pray that you would just give them strength, give them wisdom as they make decisions tonight. We thank you for allowing us to live in this parish. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kay Cook.
Present.
Lois Jordan.
Here.
Betty Johnson.
Present.
Craig Gill.
Yes.
Rex McCarthy. Mayor Jackie Johnson.
Here. Approve of the minutes for April meeting.
Just had one meeting. Oh, we had two meetings. I know we can- or three. No, we had two. Is there another set of minutes somewhere that I'm not seeing?
Yeah, we did. We had a special call on the 7th, I believe.
We were paid for two.
We were paid for,
No, we were
The
paid
one-
for three. One the last day of March and then two for April. But
there's
there's only
one at the
one set
beginning
of
of April. Scrambling in the bottom.
We want to approve the minutes for the April regular meeting. April.
The other one was the hiring of a police officer, which I have it, I just left it out of the
I
packet.
can't hear you.
The other one was the hiring of a police officer. That was the other special call meeting. I have it, but I just left it out of the packet.
The hiring of a police officer.
Yeah. Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the April's regular meeting with the insertion that the special meeting minutes was not made available. So we will have a record that we did not approve those minutes.
Okay.
Please.
Second. Public comments. Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. You ready for first and second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved by the city council. Public comments. At this time, anyone who's present can speak on any item that's on the agenda for limited comment, if you would, to 2 minutes. We'll move on. Item number 3, Meyer. Please make up.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just have a couple of quick announcements to make before I talk about the street, which is what I really wanted to get to tonight. The first is that the governor did announce here a week ago that the CDBG projects that were funded for this current year, the city of Winsboro had submitted a CDBG project to do, to rehabilitate 3 lift stations, the Motel Owens lift station, Pinecrest, and Earl Drive lift stations, and that project was not funded in this cycle. Now, they made the announcement that it was not funded, or they made the announcement of the ones that weren't funded. They have not released a scoring sheet, so we do not know how we did in relation to the other applications. So we don't really know what it looks like for next year. But this is a 2-year cycle. Since you didn't get funded in the first year, your name goes in for the second year, depending on how you score and the amount of money that they get for next year. You know, there's still a possibility that it could be funded next year's grant cycle. But just to let you know, it was not funded this year. We'll be looking for the application, and I'll update y'all more once we receive that. Hopefully, we'll get it before. Generally, they release it end of this month, 1st of June. So, just that, and what I really want to talk to you tonight is about streets. We had submitted, I think back in February, some proposed streets to be done for this year's allocation from the street sales tax fund. I got a comment that we need to kind of pretty up the map or unclutter it a little bit. So I've given y'all 2 maps tonight. One of them, both of them actually show in the black dashed line. Those are all of the streets that have been completed thus far throughout the town. Excuse me. The first map, the red, it has red dashed lines. Those are the ones that I'd originally proposed for to be included in this year's street cycle. The second map, once again, black has already been completed. Blue is those that have water lines underneath them that need to be relocated prior to doing a street project on those streets. Are there any questions or anything I can help answer or do for y'all for these for the proposed street projects for this year? And with the understanding that if we don't make a move fairly quickly, in one way or the other, that we're going to run into bad weather trying to finish up the street projects towards the end of the year. I mean, we've already pushed it out about as far as we can possibly push it. If y'all want to do street projects or street projects for streets that have utilities underneath them, we need to move forward as quickly as possible.
Sarah Street,
Yes, ma'am.
you go down Marymar into the trailer park. I didn't pull into it, but I looked at, that was like a gravel road.
It used to be paved at one time, is my understanding, but it's mostly gravel now. Am I correct in that?
It's mostly gravel now. And if it was paved, it was long time
Long
ago.
time ago? All right. Maybe
Okay,
portions
so
of it
we're
were
not gonna
paved,
do
had a
Sarah
patch here or
Street.
there.
Sarah could be replaced by David,
Why are we not doing Sarah Street?
because it's gravel. This is an overlaying project, isn't it?
It's it's overlay / reconstruction. Sarah would be reconstructed, that we would repair the base or establish a base, as the case may be, and then overlay it.
But if we propose to do all the streets in the city of Winsboro, still don't matter on the point on that deal there, that street still should be done. The taxpayers passed the tax, we saying the streets we just do with all of them. So if that street was once paved.
And Mr. Rex, you might not don't mean to cut you off. I apologize for that, but I believe you were absent a month or 2 ago whenever we talked about this. The tax expires, if I'm not mistaken, June of next year. We had discussed that at this point it looks like we'll be somewhere in the 85-90%, but we will not finish in this 10-year period with all of the streets in the city of Winsboro. That was our goal, but it looks like we're going to fall short of that goal by about 10 to 15% based on current estimates.
I still think we have to, now, is the money, so that's not a monetary issue, just a time issue, what we put on the 10 years.
It is a monetary issue in that the sales tax, in order to complete the streets, the sales tax will have to be renewed.
So we need to show promise of what we're doing. So that street needs to be done. If we go back to the voters, ask to renew that tax, to stick to the word of what we said we was gonna to do all the streets in the city of Winsboro. Is what we said. We initially went forward with that with the voters, and that's what we said our goal was. So I don't think we need to shortchange that. So we have to go back, that will give us an opportunity to have that tax renewed. So we said we're keeping our word about what we said we was gonna do. Not some streets, but we said all the streets.
But what he's saying is that we can't do all the
I know, but he said we're gonna have to come back. What I'm saying is, we're gonna have to come back and ask for a renewal. What I'm saying is to stick to the original, what we asked for when we went before the voters. We said we was gonna do it in 10 years, we have to have them understand we couldn't do it in 10. But still, again, we asked for a renewal, we need a little more time, but we wanna do every street in Winsboro like we initially said we was gonna do. And I think that would pass over with the voters to renew that tax.
No, that'll be up for the electorate to decide.
There
But
was
what
some
I-
other proposed changes.
Reg,
that-
he said last time that, correct me if I'm wrong, that after 10 years, it's almost gonna be time to start back.
Well, that was the purpose of setting up
But
this
the
10-year
voters didn't
cycle.
know that.
Was that the intention was, and that's my understanding, anyway, I wasn't here when it was originally passed. My understanding is that the thought process behind that was within 10 or 15 years, generally, it's time to redo a street. So the ones that started in their initial cycle, 2 or 3 years, if the tax is renewed, if the electorate decides to continue to do so, then that would be used for maintenance and repairs of the streets that we did the first go around. I don't know, it's been a few months since I've driven down 8th Street, but that was one of the very first ones that we did as part of this project. I know we just kind of did a little bit of widening on there for the bicycle lanes, but the original portions, the portions we did in the first street projects back in '08, you're starting to see some cracking and things in those areas. So you can see that there are some issues with some of those streets we did originally.
What I don't want, when we first started this, we had a lot of bickering where people were saying, why my street not getting done? We went through all that. We went through that and we fought that, we came back, we readjusted some of the maps, because we took the bad priority streets first. We came back and we were still catching flack. But what I want to be is to stick to what we said when we went before the voters. Let the voters know again, this took longer than 10 years. If we pass it, renew it, then again, that can help you say start maintaining, still finish up, and then have money to come back and maintain some of the ones that we started. But I just want to be about what we said we was going to be about.
And I agree with you 100%, Mr. Rex. That was what we originally did. We based it on a priority system. We ranked the streets 1 through 5. Back when like we said, when we started this 10 years ago, actually before the tail sales tax was passed. And we have tried to maintain it to the best of our ability. Now, of course, some streets deteriorated faster than others in that 10-year period. That's just natural based on traffic. Some streets have more traffic, heavier traffic than others. But we have tried to stay to that core. We did deviate some from that as well for the CDBG funding. We've secured 1.2, 1.8, I can't remember which, $1 million in LCDBG funding in the past, during the life of this tax. And we were able to do that by, servicing some areas sooner than other areas. And that was a decision that the council made. And in my opinion, it was a good decision to try and leverage the sales tax funds you had in order to get additional grant dollars to try and complete those.
And it was only a suggestion because it is gravel. I don't personally have a gun in the fight, not
And to,
personally. I mean, I know there's some question about the mayor and Skipper and Philip getting together and wanting to make some
Well,
changes,
whenever
so
we-
I just was throwing that out there.
whenever we have met before, I mean, some of these are borderline as far as, I make a recommendation based on my judgment, as far as which streets need it more than others. Now, I'm not here every day. All I'm looking at is, what's on the ground. I'm not looking at, how much traffic does this have? How much traffic during school time does this have? That kind of thing. I'm not here during those times, so I can only make an assessment on how heavily, on how the condition of the street based on what I see on the ground. Now, if some streets are more heavily traveled than others, then that's something that I might not be aware of. So whenever we discuss this, some of these might be a lower priority, or there might be reasons to adjust them. For example, on here, Sykes is in worse shape than Davenport, but does it really make sense to do Sykes if you're not doing Davenport? Because people's got to drive over Davenport to get to Sykes. So it might not make a whole lot of sense. All I'm going off of is condition of street. Now, the order that they go in, the council, and that's the reason why y'all have a streets committee set up, is for people to make that kind of decision.
And that's what I was saying, it doesn't matter that we shuffle them, that what's more priority than this one, we move some things around. But my priority was to say, if it's in the city of Winsboro, it's included in the house. And we said we're gonna take care of everyone in the house. We said we're gonna get it, we ain't gonna get it now, but we're gonna get it. So just make sure that the voters, because when we sat before them and they came, said, what you gonna utilize this money for? We said that this is what we're gonna
Done
do.
that before.
Yeah, so we just gotta stick to what we said we was gonna do.
And we asked for, when he submitted them to us the first time, it was my recommendation, or somebody's recommendation, that the street committee get together and come up with a recommendation. Well, that hasn't been done, so now we're sitting here tonight and we need to make a decision. So let's decide.
The ones with the utilities,
Yes, sir.
how long would that, how much maneuvering is that gonna take with the ones with the utilities? Like you said with Davenport, if doing that one, if you gotta go over the other one, it makes no sense to do that. So we need to do both. How long would that set us to move the utilities? Is something we need to start on right now? Moving those utility lines on those streets that we're gonna do?
Yes, sir, that's really a critical issue. If it's just street replacement, you know, y'all could wait another month or two probably before, you know, we have any issues with delaying into the winter months, into the rainy months. But with the street relocation, we really need to make a decision as soon as possible so that we can, my intention is, if y'all made a decision, say in the next week, 2 weeks, something like that, my intention would be to have plans and specifications ready to go for y'all to authorize me to advertise those streets that need to be relocated at your next meeting. And even on that time frame, you know, with awarding at the following meeting, we're still pushing into starting the streets and really starting construction on the streets in September, which, as you know, is iffy at best, and then October is bad weather as far as street construction goes. So we're really backing it up, pushing the time frame back at this point.
Okay, so that's the first priority that we need to get off of the street department, the recommendations again, of coming out of that committee, to bring it back before the council to say which, you know, what the recommendations to be, the streets we want to roll out. But I do think we need to be starting gearing up for the renewal of that tax, and letting the public know why we're asking for that renewal. Because we came up short of the time.
So you're saying to let the street committee come back within 2 weeks
With a
to
recommendation to the
the
council.
recommendation? Okay. Is that a motion?
Yes, I make that a motion. Mayor, I make a motion on the issues with the streets here, to allow that to go into the street committee, to let them come back with a recommendation to bring back before the council, so we can find out which streets do we want to prioritize to work on this cycle.
Okay, do you want to include his report in on this motion, or want to do it again?
Yes, include.
Okay.
No, I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Record reflect that was unanimously approved.
Thank you all, and if y'all would like me to participate in that street committee meeting, just please let me know a date and time, and I'll do the best I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works monthly report.
I guess that's me, huh? If you would, I would like to just take just a moment, just to say that I'm proud to be sitting here as the town's new superintendent. And, I will do y'all the best job that I can, given time to get everything squared away. And as the days go along, I'm getting more comfortable with the job, so I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate all the words of encouragement and everything that y'all have given me. We have gotten a good bit of the ditches mowed, the grass was grown up, so we got our tractor going, got all that mowed, and we're still working on some things to get caught up, but weather permitting, we should have that soon. You have everything kind of caught up. We're still mowing the parks and all this, getting as fast as we can, to getting everything ready on them. We started cleaning out our swimming pools today, to get ready for them to open up on June the 1st, or thereabouts. Is that right, Coach?
7,
The second?
6.
6, okay. And then also, here within probably a couple of weeks, by the end of the month at the latest, we're gonna be starting our mosquito spraying, and we'll be doing that twice a week, all over town. That's all I have.
I make a motion to accept.
Got one question. Philip, right there, and I may be referring with you, Mr. Thomas, right there on Isabel, and you turn up Isabel off Roland, that house that's right there is an old abandoned house that's right there, that's got a big lot that spans back towards that church. Do we see how high that grass is right there? I mean, it hadn't been mowed in eons.
I'll let Mr. Fayon pick this up.
So have we had an opportunity to contact the landowners on that? Because one thing from living on the street, I know we've always had problems when grass grew up like that, with those rats and all like that, and they flush in folks' homes. And I just so happened over the weekend, and I hadn't been out that much, but I was having so this weekend, and I came down that way of one of my old residents, and it's an eyesore.
Yes, sir.
What we did was, Councilman McCarthy, what we did was, we ran it in the paper for 3 weeks. We started May 9th, between the rains. We started bush hogging. We went out and bush hogged 8 lots today. So therefore, every day, if the rain permits, we'll go out and mow like 8 plus, try to keep up with what the city has. Also, the roads and all of that. But what we're doing now is that we are actually going in the communities, because we had to wait those 3 weeks, running in the paper to give them opportunity. Not only 3 weeks, but we also had to give them 10 days after that 3 weeks to give them an opportunity to mow that lot. And those 10 days and those 3 weeks have went into default now. So now we're out with the tractors, and we're going in and we're just going in, hitting those areas, and like you say, those areas that are around churches and
There's a lot of children there.
Right.
That plant. That's a heavy condensed area with children, with that grass,
Yes, sir. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the most condensed area where children and churches and daycares and all that, and we're hitting those areas first. So like you said, on that one, we'll be back over. If it don't rain very much. That area, what you just said, Isabel, because we was over on Ferguson today. We'll be back over in that area tomorrow, and we'll come in, we'll hit 8 more. And we'll do 8 a day, along with our regular mowing until we get the whole city cleaned up. And then we'll go back and hit 8 more. And as long as the property owner don't go and mow them, we're gonna mow them, and then we're gonna go ahead and tax them with that, with that fee to add on to their taxes. But we are in those areas, and we are mowing them, yes, sir. And we also have as the superintendent stated, we also have what we call a boom tractor in operation with the arm on it. So therefore, ditch banks and all the community, therefore they're being mowed. So we're, it's slow, but the weather's been pretty. We bought down a tractor today, so it's still kind of soggy. But we don't want to get it. We want to mow them, but we don't want to get it and tap our equipment, or or cause damage to their property where they can turn around and, what I'm saying, do repercussions on us going there, damaging up their property. So we want to make sure that we're able to get in there to mow in a safe and a good environment and just keep going. But we're going to get there. We really are.
In addition to what you just said, I just want to bring a point that this has been an exceptionally wet year. They haven't been able to get in there because of all the rain, and weeds and brushes has really grown up, and actually turned to seeds. It wasn't because they were neglected in any way.
No.
It was just simply because they weren't able to get to them.
No, I wasn't saying on that area, just on neglect. We know we have problems with that property right there. Because I know Jimbo Murphy used to mow it, you know, and he was mowing it for a time period. But that's a huge area, right? That's a huge area.
Right.
Right there. And it is, I mean, you come through it is.
Right.
We have problems with that. So I'm gonna say no neglect on that. I'm saying what we pushing the owner, because I know we've had that problem before.
Yes, sir. And if it don't rain, we will be in the morning, bright and early, and you come through there tomorrow evening, it'll be gone. Sure will.
Here again, we have to give it, it has to be a certain height before we can go in there and mow that. Am I correct?
It's a height, it's there.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah, well, I know, we got them all over town, and, you know, and even with what we mow on a regular basis,
It's high.
but by the time we get back to it, it don't look like it's been mowed in 2 or 3 weeks, you know. But it's strictly because everything is growing just so fast,
Get just enough rain to make it grow.
and just enough rain to keep it growing, exactly right.
What is your pleasure?
Make a motion that we accept the Public Works monthly report.
Been properly moved
Second.
and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. Humane Officers Monthly Report.
Number of dogs adopted for the month 3, 11 for the year. Claim, 1 for the year. Fawcett, 3, 13 for the year. Monroe, 0. 8 new dogs, 36 for the year. Total care for 25, 500 pounds of dog food, 2,800 for the year. 18 in the pen. Total in the pen, 18. 7 miscellaneous. And 5 of them were skunk, and 2 coons. Total calls 65, dead animals 15, ordinance 1 put out, 26 for the year. That's all we have.
I guess my question is gonna be the same thing, that's gonna be dealing with something else, Mayor. I keep saying, don't matter how we start, what matters how we finish. Again, have we had an opportunity with those pins that we allotted out there, have we started any progress and any work on putting those slabs, those extra pins? Yeah, out at the,
I don't shut it. No, as soon as it dry up, we're supposed to start up on it. Hopefully it won't be long. We don't got some estimates of the frame and everything gonna be put in. But as soon as we can get some dry weather, we're gonna get somebody in there. I talked to Philip, and we're gonna get together and get some dirt in there. They already put some gravel in there before, we're gonna put some more dirt in there, and after that, y'all be able to get started.
Okay, so we're looking at, this ought to be completed by this summer, we get that done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just going back to the deal, we said it, you know, we was gonna do that, and again, don't wanna make us look like a liar.
Right,
of what we said we was
exactly.
gonna do.
Well, where we're putting that is low, and like I said, to get our trucks and all in there, got to let it get good and dry before we can get our trucks in there, keep from punching the ground up, you know, and everything, keep it where we can get in and out.
Yeah, I know we had that problem the last time, and I know we
Yeah.
spread it thin with our crew.
Right.
You know, when Skip was, I know it was a deal how we spread it so thin.
Right.
But again, you know, we already allotted the money to do it, in the pound, you know, some folks look and say, well, they still haven't done it, how they holding
Right.
it, but hold us accountable, and we need to be held accountable.
Sure.
I make a motion that we accept the Humane Officer Monthly Report.
Properly moved
Second.
and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. Fire Chief Monthly Report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This past month's been kind of slow for us at the department. As far as private dwellings, we've had one, grass and brush. Thank goodness we've had one with the rain and everything. And then we had one rescue call here the other day off of Ellis Lane. One apartment call, public assembly, I've got that down in town is where we, got with the people with the smoke alarms. We're giving those out, we're still giving those out as we go. Then, a couple of fire alarms, we've had 2 fire alarms there. Down here where you see smoke detectors installed, over the past, made a trip to Baton Rouge, and I picked up around 400 of the alarms from the State Fire Marshal's office, and to date, we've had 360 picked up, where people has come by the station and picked up smoke alarms, and 4 of them just like right out of town, just right outside the city limits, stuff like that, with a total of 364. So the program's doing real good, getting the word out, and it's been getting out. And thanks to the Franklin Sun, things like that, we're still going to continue that program. I may have to make another run to Baton Rouge to get us some more, but they will be available to us at no charge.
Y'all aren't doing any installs?
Some of the people, if they need them installed, like the elderly people, we just make a note of it on the app, and we get guys to go out. Matter of fact, we had one up on Rose Avenue here just the other day. We went up there and installed 2 for the lady. But as they want us to, we, there's no problem for us to come by and install for them. No problem at all.
I make a motion we accept the fire report. I second it.
Properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Record reflect.
Did we skip code enforcement officer amendment?
Okay. Code Enforcement Officers Amendment.
Number 5.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. We started mowing, as we stated earlier, lots this week. We mowed a total of 8 lots today, not counting some of the lots that belongs to us. We know that it's getting time about the Zika virus, and as you stated earlier about the rats and all these other type of vermin, so we're as quick as possible. We're getting in there and we're mowing not only lots, but we're also mowing those alleyways. So our mosquito truck or equipment can therefore go through the community and spray for mosquitoes. We're also paying very close attention to debris that's been out there in our community, such as tires and different pools of such things that would hold water, therefore hold those mosquitoes and cause that mosquito virus to grow in our community. Not only that, but we also have 12 houses that are stated to be torn down. We have 2 bids in, therefore we're waiting on 1 more. So in the next city council meeting, that these bids could come before the city council, and they can therefore accept one and default the other one, and we can therefore tear these houses down by July 1st. We're also therefore going around on phase 2, looking at these other houses that are in the community that have boards on the windows that are falling down, and we're going to therefore go by, and also stores or anything that's not properly manicured in the community. We're therefore going to go by and give them a second look, and therefore deem them also so we can get those houses and stuff torn down and demolition. Once again, we're slow, but the city workers, we're doing the best we can. We're trying to get as many lots that we can because we realize that this is a problem. So we just want to say to all of, let's see, we have the houses, we have the lots, and so what, we have cars, so therefore we're going by also because some people have brought back some cars after we asked them to move, so now we're back on the cars, now we're back on the houses, now we're back on the lots. Along with that, we're also writing permits for those people that want to come here and do business in our town. We're writing peddler's permit on those, we're writing permits for electricity, we're writing permits for a house being built over on Holly Drive. We wrote a permit for that also. Y'all ready? Okay, I'm sorry. That's it.
Don't we need to vote to amend the agenda to add him on there? We don't need to do that part? Because he wasn't on the original.
He's on there, number 5.
This is the one that I put in for today, but the one that was hung on the door Friday didn't include him. And that's why I put amend by it, so that's why I put the motion to amend it to add him on there. Because he wasn't on the original.
I make a motion we amend the agenda to add the code enforcement. I second it.
Properly moved. And do I have a second? And second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Record reflect that unanimously approved.
Now I make a motion to accept the code enforcement.
Properly moved. And second, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Record reflect that unanimously approved.
Now you're the police officer.
Item number 8, Police Chief Monthly Report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. For the month of 4/19 to 16, 5/16 to 16, criminal charges for the month is 43, for the year 180, traffic charges 70, and for the year 321. Highway accidents is 12 for the month, hauling house is 13, total of 25. Calls for service for the year is 5. That's all I have.
Did the police officer that we voted to hire, did all of his credentials check out and everything, and he got hired?
Yes, he's hired. He's doing his refresher course in the academy right now. Be out next month.
How long do they have to go to the refresher course?
It's 11 weeks, same as regular academy. They just don't do as much as the full-time guys in the academy.
Any other police officers or candidates in your eye for police officers coming up?
Say that again?
Do you have any applicants that
Yes.
you see that you might get hired?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm just, yeah.
We need to do that,
Yeah.
please.
Other question right there, Chief, how's your fleet? Your vehicles?
It's okay. It's all right. We have, actually, we have those Dodge Chargers. They just stay in the shop a lot. I mean, all of them. They really eat on my budget a lot, those Chargers. But right now, everything's going okay right now.
I make a motion to accept the chief's report.
Second.
Been properly moved and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. We're going to take item number 9, economic development, in with executive session. That's really the meat of that portion. So we're going to move to item number 10, communities center monthly report. Do we have that report?
She had graduation tonight at her school, and we'll be giving that report on a regular basis. She'll give us that report to us when she had graduation.
Athletic director monthly report.
Evening, everyone. Before we start, I'd like to thank the mayor and the city and Philip and chief for what y'all do for our school during graduation. It makes it run so much easier. Having the fence up, the support of the police and everything, it went great. It's been great the last few years. But I'd like to thank y'all for that. Y'all always help us out when we need it. And the item number 1, because of that, I think it was really easy to get this summer. Our summer basketball program will be at our high school this year. I went and asked our principal last week, and he said absolutely. You know, much as the city does for us, we can do for them. So it'll be at our high school. It's run from June the 6th, July 15th, 6 weeks long. And I was talking to the mayor a while ago. We have a federal program now where we have lunch every day at school. And I'm going to check and make sure and see if these kids are eligible for that. If it is, that'll be awesome, because they'll be getting through at 11. Lunch starts at 10:30, so it'll be perfect for the kids. You know, I know our football team's gonna lift weights in the morning, they're gonna go straight to the lunchroom and eat, so that'll be, right along with it. Item number 2, the swimming pools once again host 2 weeks of swimming lessons, starting June the 13th. It'll be sponsored by our sheriff once again. It'll be food provided at the end of each week for all the children there. I don't know if any of you came by last year. It was over 200 kids there every day. We're gonna promote it like when I'm talking to them, we're gonna promote it like we did last year, get TV come down. Because it's very important for our kids to know how to swim. You know, the tragedy we had last year, and you know, if we can get 10 of them to learn how to swim, hopefully all of them, but you know, get them every year, kind of build up to it. But I think the sheriff really helps us out with that, and that's something that's awesome. And we have really good lifeguards and really good managers of these pools. Because we couldn't do it without them. And you know, you can't just get anybody to teach swimming. They train in all these are. We're looking at placing, we're not looking, we're gonna do it, but the mayor wants the electricity run behind the mounds at these fields. We can use pitching machines, and we'll get that done in the next few weeks, hopefully. And, Mr. Gill, according to your thing, I told Philip, we're looking at 4 lights on each tennis court. We've got to move the poles up to do that, and that'd be a cost-effective way to do it, but it also light up and last a lot longer, because LED lights, I think, they'll last a whole lot longer. So, that's all I got. Gonna be a busy month.
Coach, one of the questions that
Yes.
I got, Coach, you know, Dave was talking about finishing. The concession stand, the new concession stand that's built over at the West Side Park, looks great.
It does.
How long is it gonna be there before we finish everything with those stair steps that's coming down from the bottom and all that?
I saw Mr. Dalton and them working at a church, and I'll stop and talk to them, see when they can get back. I still have some work to do installing the sound system and all that too there. It's gonna be really nice, and it's stairwell, you might go to the second floor.
Yeah, yes.
'Cause it's gotta be coded right. You know, fire marshal's gonna check that.
Are we ever gonna look at moving that backstop up, that fence up a little bit? Cause I know we hugging it real
Yeah, it
real
is. It's
tight,
close.
squeezing it.
You know, it costs a lot of money to do, but I can look at it, 'cause I say.
In the softball field there.
Yes, right there.
The concession stand is about this far from the fence. I know what you're talking about. It's really close. And, you know, I can get them to do it, sheriff and them can do that.
I thought about that, or either just fencing that gap in.
Right.
That wouldn't allow anyone to come in between it.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't want nobody to get hurt in there.
Yeah.
So, I'll check on that. I'll talk to him about that.
And then the other question I had was, again, like I said, I've been kind of busy tracking.
Right.
And I had an opportunity, again, on the weekend, I saw the Terry Wallace Park. I happened to be on the side of the project and looking at the big basketball court.
Yeah.
And I saw the nets,
Yeah.
the nets missing and all like that. Are we gonna get an opportunity to get nets on all those?
Rick, I have replaced a net every 2 weeks. And I even put metal nets up there, and they were torn up. So me and the mayor had a conversation. We're gonna buy not necessarily cheap nets, but not the real expensive one. I'll just replace them every week if I have to. I mean, 'cause what's happening is, and there's nothing wrong with grown men getting out there playing basketball, I'm saying that, but they're hanging on the nets and,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
all that. But,
Yeah.
and, you know,
They do it.
but I told him I'll replace them every week if I have to. But,
Didn't we resurface those courts over there a couple years back?
yeah, but I was gonna tell, one of them, it's got a huge crack in it. I don't know, the north end of that court, it's got a crack in it, and it ain't been there long, but I don't know what we can do about it, because it's pretty big.
What's gonna happen on that is that we're gonna go in there, make a complete square, take out that section and replace it, and then go in and remark it. Because what happened in years of being there, the ground shifted.
Right.
So therefore, that's what caused the crack, in that basketball court. So therefore, hopefully, whenever the weather permits again, we're gonna get over there with our saw and just cut a good square in there and bring in new cement and re-pour it and fill it in with dirt and pack it real good, and that ought to take care of the problem.
And I told him I have connections with national company, I can get the net really, really reasonable price. So, I mean, we don't want to not use our local, I'm not saying that, but I mean, to buy a big amount of nets.
I know that's gonna be a, you know, a recurring deal that you're doing with
That's
those
fine.
nets, because I know, we know how they hang and.
That's fine, I don't mind doing it.
But yeah, but I just so happened to see it just, you know, at my niece, and I just happened to be looking at the courts. And I saw those deals right there with the nets. The last time I was there a little while back, I saw the new nets on, I saw all the nets,
Yeah.
I saw them. And just so happened to see them that time, like.
I had a lady communicate to me one day, said, Coach, you was over changing them nets. Yes, she said, they already tore up next desk. You know, it's just an ongoing process, and it's, you know, it's part of it.
They should play.
Can you draw a line on the concrete and say, this is what you're gonna do?
Well, it's actually, if you ever go over and watch them, it's pretty athletic. I mean, it's, you know, I don't mean hanging on nets. I'm talking about, you know, hopefully we'll get some of them in high school that can do.
What is your, make a motion that we accept the athletic director monthly report.
I second it.
Properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Record reflect that. Thank you, Rick. Introduction to ordinance number 979, proposed ordinance budget that will lay on the table for 30 days.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Let the record reflect that unanimously approved. This time, I'll accept the motion to go into executive session.
Financial.
Huh?
You don't do the financial statement.
Oh, financial statement, I apologize.
Rex, is there, before we do the financial report, is there any particular time that you can meet, that we can meet as a finance committee?
I'm through, like I just said a minute ago, Kay, I'm through tracking. I'm girls and boys coach. We just finished up, put a kid in state. We did, came out 6th. But, well, right now, my schedule's clear now, but we can sit at where we at. And so, well, we can get together here, we can get a meeting set up on the finance.
Name a date.
You name it, you hit me with a day that you want. We get out teachers Monday, but I set up summer programs. But like for right now, from all athletics, I'm finished. So, just hit me with a day.
All right, what about Thursday week?
Next Thursday? Sounds fine.
About that, Charlie?
Thanks.
Mayor, is that okay with you?
Which is the 26th.
That's great.
Can you mark that down? Is that the street? Is that the street?
No, that's.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's finance, I'm sorry. I had streets on my mind.
Well, we could set, if we knew who was on the street committee. I don't know who's on the street committee. But I gotta find out. And I will call and tell somebody who it is. Okay. We're gonna do finance. I looked at all of this, told her what went wrong, looks like she's ready to do this.
And I did print out that, overtime paper, but you know, left it on the ground too, so
Got it?
okay, I scanned it to you already?
I don't know.
Well, I have it in front of me.
I still see some negatives being put with the positives in utility systems for it. And our numbers are horrible as far as our expenses being over budget. That too, we need to discuss in our finance committee meeting so we can come up with some budget amendments. Because they're really bad. And that being said, I'll make a motion to approve April funding.
Properly moved.
Second.
And second, all in favor, say aye.
Who
Opposed?
seconded it?
I think it's unanimous.
Unanimously?
Yeah.
Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. At this time, I'll accept the motion to go into executive session. Moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
What's the reason for?
The legal strategy matter